I asked a question before the break, and Gator, I patiently await your answer. What's your biggest concern? What's your bigger concern? Is it the kicking? Is it the defense? Is it the possibility that they don't have Laporta or Raymond? What was my other one? Kicking, defense. What was there was a fourth one?
I don't know. You're springing it on me, so I don't know.
All right. What are those things? Is it
I
the
think
coach?
Campbell was
Is it the
the
coach. Yeah, the gambles. What concerns you the most?
Well, you're putting me on a spot, but what concerns me most, I guess, would be the defense.
Would it? Okay.
Yeah. I'm not worried, and it's because it's process of elimination. You were the first to point out, and quite astutely, they won plenty of games without Hawkinson last year, and they didn't have Laporta last year. They didn't miss a beat.
Mm-hmm.
It's a next man up mentality here. Brock Wright's returning. If they lost Laporta, yeah, it hurts because he's dynamic, but they have plenty of other players that can pick up the slack. Jamison Williams is back. So I'm not terribly concerned about this. I already touched on Dan Campbell. I think Dan Campbell's ready for this moment. I think he's relishing this moment to coach in the playoffs and get his chance to shine. So I'm not worried about him. What was the other one?
Kicking?
Kicking was a little bit of a concern. It is a concern for me, but the defense is more of a concern because you've got an experienced quarterback that has won a Super Bowl. He's familiar. He knows what he's coming into. It's not like he's going to be surprised by it, and that does concern me a little bit. I've mentioned the wide receiver duos that they faced, and I know that Kupp and Nacua are good, but I think they faced better in the last 3 weeks with the Minnesota crew twice and then the Dallas crew. But Minnesota's quarterback was a turnover waiting to happen. Dak Prescott's pretty good, and particularly when he's playing at home. The Lions stepped up in that game, so I like that. It's a concern for me for the defense, but it's not like this isn't weighing me down like thinking, oh my God, they have to play perfectly defensively in order to win. I don't think that's the case. I think that they can play, a similar style that they've done. They've been opportunistic. Now that they've added C.J. Gardner-Johnson back to the mix in the safety, I think they've got guys like him, like Kirby Joseph, like Brian Branch, that are all guys that can capitalize on mistakes. And if you get pressure on Stafford and he has to throw the ball, he'll throw interceptions. He's not immune to that. We've seen plenty in Detroit, and they've seen plenty in Los Angeles of him throwing picks. And, he threw a couple picks his last time out. And he can also take a sack because he's not mobile. So it's my biggest concern, but it's not like I think that they're doomed because of their defense. I don't think they're doomed.
Nothing needs an out-of-body experience to win a game.
Correct.
Right? I mean, there are times where we will try and have to work very hard to craft the path to victory. We've done this on occasion. And sometimes there's a lot more heavy lifting involved in doing so. I don't feel like we have to do that for this game. And I could see all those things coming through. I have a lot of faith in Dan Campbell. I don't always agree with every decision he makes, but I want him to be himself. I think that's what's gotten them here. So I can question it, but it's not an epidemic, his decision making, and I think part of that helps in other ways. A failed fourth down might still help in other ways because I think this team loves specifically the offensive guys, love that he believes in them and they want to have his back and play for him. And so maybe they fail on that fourth down but come through later in the game, or fail on that fourth down but they don't have any problems in the locker room because he went for it during the game. So these things, like a long way to get there, but I think it could help.